say about our understanding of church culture. Our collect talks about the beauty in the diversity of races and cultures throughout the world. That's the word culture in a very large sense. But also recognize that every family, every business, every organization, every church has, in a smaller sense of that word, a culture of its own. Culture is what is seen in the unspoken rules about the way we do things around here. It's evident in the default attitudes we take and in the assumptions we make. Our culture is how we treat each other, how we treat visitors, how we treat total strangers in church and also in our wider lives. In Genesis, we see Abraham and Sarah responding to strangers who show up unannounced at their tent, which is their home. And it turns out that those strangers were representatives of God, and they were there to bring special blessings to the lives of Abraham and Sarah. This passage is so important that in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, it will later be referred to with this added instruction. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some have entertained angels without knowing. Who are the angels in the sky who visit us? And what blessings do they have in store for us? Howard Thurman has wisely said, community cannot feed on itself. It can only flourish with the coming of others from beyond, our unknown and undiscovered sisters and brothers, who are our as yet undiscovered sisters and brothers who will help this church community to flourish. The psalm talks about the blessings that come from God through family. There's another way of reading this psalm. You can think of the blessings that come from God through the church as a family-like partnership of people working together with a common purpose. And where the psalm talks about the family's children, think not just about our own children and our own grandchildren, but think about the importance of passing on our faith to all of those in the next generation who will come after. The Epistle of James strikes a similar note in reminding us to be welcoming and inclusive of all people. It contrasts between, on the one hand, a person with gold rings and fine clothes, and on the other hand, a poor person in dirty clothes, is a distinction of class, which is a part of culture. Are we as open and accepting as James calls us to be, of people who might not share our expectations, whether those expectations be of education or behavior or dress? Who might not share our class or our culture, yet still needs us to share the love of God with them? Mark's Gospel addresses the question, Well, just who is our family? Jesus has become quite known well known throughout the land. And people are seeking him out in great numbers for his teaching and for his healing. And what is his own family's reaction to all of this? They think he's lost his mind. They want to restrain him. I don't know if they had straitjackets back then, but they wanted to restrain him and bring him back home. How do we treat people that we think are out of their mind? Well, thankfully, Jesus' family did not succeed in restraining him and getting him to come back home and quit teaching and quit healing. And when Jesus learns that his biological family is outside calling for him, he asks those around him, "Who are my mother and my brothers and my sisters?" And Jesus is just the answer. He says, "Here, you are my mother and my brothers and my sisters." And he recognizes that those disciples, the ones that he already knows well, but even also the strangers that he's never set eyes on before, everyone who is present with him are his family. But he doesn't just stop there. He goes on to say, "Whoever does the will of God, whether I ever set eyes on them, whether they know about God or not, if they are doing the will of God, they are my mother and my sister." Jesus makes the main further. It's not up to us to decide who is to be included in our church family. Because Jesus has just given us as wide a definition as could be imagined for the people that we are to treat as family. God's family, even those people who may not yet know, but they're part of God's family, they're already family. And look at the image on your bulletin cover. House of water. House of water. The author, David Foster Wallace, gave a famous college commencement address that was titled, "This is Water." In that address, he tells the story of an old fish swimming up to two young fish and asking them that question, "How's the water?" Two young fish look at each other for a minute, and then they ask each other the same question. They say, "What's water?" They don't know, because they're so used to being surrounded by it all the time that they've never given a thought to what that is. Took the old fish's question for them to even ask to try to figure out what is water. What are the realities around us that are so taken for granted that we don't even notice them? What is the water, the culture life that we swim in here at St. Stephen's and are so used to it that we don't even perhaps recognize that it's there? And notice that image also shows ripples spreading out like someone has thrown a rock into the pond, spreading those ripples out across the surface of the water. Like the wording in our column this morning, it reminds us how enriching it is for us to operate in ever-widening circles of fellowship. That's how our positive influence needs to spread. That's how our inclusiveness and welcoming should spread. Is our church culture one that leads us to do that? These are all questions that we're going to be asking in our room. What is most important for us now is to try to become aware of what that water is, what our culture is. And to also be aware that culture just doesn't happen. Culture is created and shaped and maintained, and it can be changed when necessary. So with these biblical and theological perspectives in mind, we'll continue with our culture event activity following worship today. Please